dislike, I'm a superstar. Woo-hoo. I got haters. Literally, there's no famous person that doesn't have haters. If you're getting a hate, if you're getting a dislike, you literally have arrived. It's great. I think some of you think I'm actually bothered, but I literally am happy. I'm going to tell you a little story. Short one. YesJapan.com, right? My website from way back. My programmer, as a joke, bought YesJapanSucks.com, right? And I was like, what? And he was like making like tongue-in-cheek jokes about the website. You know what I did? I kept it up. I posted it on our server. This is like maybe 15 years ago. I still own it somewhere, YesJapanSucks.com. Because I was like, this is it, man. This is how you get big. You got to have your own website, sucks.com. All right, guys. Well, gosh, you know what? I think we can start because Leandra is back. Leandra's back, and that means we can start. We're 5 hours into the live stream. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero. I'm George Trombley, and normally I make a video where I talk about what I want to talk about, teaching you Japanese. But in our live streams, I take live questions from people like you, and we do something called, I'm going to actually click the PowerPoint, and that way when I have a dramatic moment where I go, boom, I look nice. So I take questions from you. These are your questions about Japanese. Today's first question is from Senor Carlos. Senor Carlos says, the verb iu has so many uses. Iu means to say. For example, toyu to, toyu koto, and toyu no wa. Oh, I didn't even do that one. Oh, sorry. Could you explain the usage of iu in different contexts? Thanks. Love your vids. Thanks. Well, I love your quests. Your quests are nice. All right, so let's do it. Excuse me. Wow. Hang on. Oof. I've been talking way too much. Oh, man. I just realized. Evie's in a weird spot, kind of looking over me. First one. Toyu to. Then we have toyu koto de. Toyu yori. Toyu no de areba. There are literally so many toyu something something. That's because iu is say, and if you say toyu, it means the thing before it is what we said, and then everything after that is just grammar, right? So toyu to, if you say blah blah blah, toyu koto de, what we just said being the case, toyu yori, more than what we just said, and toyu no de areba, well, if you're gonna say what we just said, then this, okay? So let's go ahead and put those into sentences to help us understand. Now, this is a lot to do in one question, and I don't expect you to understand these small nuances of this. This is like an if statement, and what is the koto de and the yori? These are all things that require maybe a little bit more study. But if you're an advanced or kind of intermediate level, this will maybe help you. Let's do it. 外人というと失礼です。外人というと失礼です。If you say 外人, it's rude. That's one usage of this. But maybe you say blah 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 to you to. Well, you know, if you say that, it reminds me of this. That also works. For example, let's say I was famous. You could, 有名な人っていうと, well, if you're saying famous people, ジョージはどうですか? How about George? Right? There's so many ways to use you. Basic one is if you say this, that. Okay? How about this one? 休みだということで今日は外に行きません。休みだということで今日は外に行きません。Well, today being a vacation, a day off, I'm not going to go outside. Something だということで See, that's the day that causes that to do that, right? Not the you, right? So, because I could just say 休みで today, literally, 休みで because another way to say because. Woo. 休みで since it's a day off, 外に行きません. I'm not going outside, right? 休みだということで today being that it is a day off, 外に行きません. 彼女というよりいい友達です. More than her being my girlfriend, she's like a good friend, right? というより more than is yori. Calling her a girlfriend, she's a good friend, right? And this very, very long one, because when you say というのであれば, I mean, that's kind of long-winded already, so let's go with this long one. この部屋で3万円だっていうのであれば、俺はこのホテルには二度と泊まりません. It's really long, but it's basically, if you're saying that this room is 30,000 yen, I'll never stay twice in this hotel again. And when you say nidoto, it means twice, really. But in English, we say, I'll never. Nidoto shinai means I'll never do it again. You did it once, ichido, but now you're never going to do it again. Nidoto shimasen. Okay, let's read that one more time. この部屋で with this room, the state that this room is in, that's what the data is, right? この部屋でこの状態で this being the state この部屋で3万円だっていうのであれば maybe I'm saying it to the hotel staff 俺は I'm mad so I'm using 俺はこのホテルには二度と never again 泊まりません will I stay. Alright, thank you for that question. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of insight. There's a lot of things that you does. There's more than I can even imagine. Alright, so next question is from Tati-chan. Tati says, what do we do? Wow, my voice is really going. Hang on. What do we do if we don't have enough material to study Japanese? As for me, I can't buy books or things like that, especially in my country. Only free stuff online, which absolutely isn't enough. Your opinion would help me. Free! Okay, I understand like countries like Pakistan, and there are a lot of countries that actually don't allow you to use credit cards online. It's kind of weird for us in the West to know that you're prohibited from using a credit card, which prevents you from buying things online, and the government has a lot of things on lockdown. That's unfortunate, but it happens. So what can you do? Well, I assume you have access to other things. I assume that anything that's free online you can get. I know even like Chinese people, they can buy a lot of things online, but they're prohibited from going on YouTube, for example, or they're prohibited from going on Google. So a lot of things are locked out for them, unfortunately. So here's just some things. These are things that I talk about quite often. Number one, the most biggest one is Hello Talk, Hello Talk, Hello Talk. I wish I was getting paid to say this, but if they offered me money, I would take it just because I want the money. But if they said, we're never going to pay you a dime, like, you know what, I'm still going to recommend you because Hello Talk is an excellent resource if you're learning any language. Go up there, make friends. It is literally your access to meeting Japanese people on your phone. There are other things that you can do from a PC. Hello Talk does require Android or iOS, in other words, an Apple phone or a Samsung or a Google phone. So that might be a problem for you in your country. Or maybe you don't have a phone. But there's other things like, I don't remember the name, like Lang8 or things like that you could do. If you need good lessons, of course, my website is available. Where you can just go to my website. It's on the screen. Or I'll just tell you one of the three possible websites. YesJapan.com, JapaneseFromZero.com, or FromZero.com are all available. You could also go to my competitor, Japanese Pod 101. I have a little bit of things that I don't like about them. I think that they spend a lot of time trying to get you to download the PDF a little bit too much, or they really, really want you to go to the website a little bit too much, and they spam you like crazy. I don't know if that's changed, because I haven't subscribed to them for a while, but every site that they have that teaches languages, they are very, very spammy, and they do this thing where when you join, they say, hey, for $1, for just $1, you can get this big package of stuff, which is nice, by the way. It's not a bad thing, but then they auto-charge you without telling you that they're going to auto-charge you, or they hide the information somewhere, because I certainly didn't look for it, and that auto-charge was like $60-some. So they are shady AF. They're not, in my mind, a company that I would like to ever be. Never want to do that kind of a thing. But they are free, and if you know how to work with them, if you can go to YouTube, or not YouTube, iTunes, or any podcast reader and subscribe to them and download everything that you have, you can then arrange it in the proper order because they purposely make it in a weird order. Like they'll do a newbie one and then they'll do an advanced one and you don't know where to start. You can rearrange it yourself, okay? And you can then put that on your phone and that's completely free. And their lessons are pretty solid. Any lesson's good when you have nothing, right? YouTube, hopefully you have access to YouTube. There is literally 1 million people trying to teach Japanese on YouTube, okay? Find one that you like. I'm one, for example. There's a lot of good stuff from Japanese Man Yuta. I love that guy. I'm a huge fan of that guy. I don't know if he teaches Japanese, but he does give you a lot of interaction with Japanese people where he does interviews on the street. I'm trying to think. Nihongo no Mori. They're my competition, but they're a whole different style of teaching. They do it all in Japanese, as far as I understand. And Cute Girls, teaching you Japanese, Nihongo no Mori. There's a bunch of stuff. And if you go to those places and interact with people there, they'll tell you some other places. And if you're subscribed to my channel, it should show you similar channels on the right side. If you're subscribed to Nihongo no Mori, they're gonna have some similar channels on their side, on the side of the YouTube page. And maybe if your country blocks YouTube, maybe you can go to Vimeo. I don't know. Get a friend to buy you things. Okay? You would be surprised. I don't know about other countries, but Americans can be fairly generous. If you meet a friend, you say, look, I'm not trying to scam you. I literally have no way to buy this online. Can you please buy it? And then find a way to get them money. And say, look, or be honest, say, look, there's no way for me to get you the money. It's not because I don't have the money. It's just my country makes it very hard. Even if you send it to me, I'm going to have to pay the taxes on it or whatnot. Probably, right? Maybe they'll be willing to say, maybe you know what? Maybe you can send them something from your country, right? Maybe if you're Pakistani, for example, say, look, can we do a gift exchange? I really want to get a Japanese book, or I really want to get this Japanese learning CD thing or whatever. Say, hey, can you buy it for me? And I will send you something from Pakistan. And maybe you go out on a limb and you send it to them first, right? And you say, look, and you know what? Maybe you get ripped off. Maybe it happens, right? And maybe you rip them off, right? That's a possibility. But if they're your friend, make friends with someone who can buy this for you, all right? I mentioned this earlier. I don't remember if this is the site anymore, Lang8. I think they even got bought by... One of these websites got bought by Rosetta Stone. I mean, good job on their part, because if it was Lang8's pretty good. You can post stuff that you've written in Japanese and people will correct it for you, but then they kind of want you to correct. There's like a quid pro quo. That's what you say. You have to do something, a certain amount, and then they'll do a certain amount. But on HelloTalk, actually, you could post things in Japanese on HelloTalk in your moments, and then people will correct you. And if you write interesting things, they'll become your friend. They'll follow you. All right. Let me say this again. HelloTalk. Now, this is a very important note at the bottom. Lie if you have to. If you're, let's say that there's no nice way to say this, right? White people are more popular with Asian people, right? It's just how they are, because in their media, white people are displayed a lot, right? So a lot of people like Americans more than, let's say you're Pakistani. Maybe they don't want to talk to a Pakistani. You know what? Hide your location, put up a fake picture, and learn Japanese. Literally, learn fake it if you have to. If you're a fat, ugly guy and no one wants to talk to you, put a cute girl picture up there and become a girl, because a lot of guys will talk to you. In the end, it might get freaky sometimes, but you're gonna learn Japanese. If your goal is to learn Japanese and your country makes it hard for you, or something in your life makes it hard for you, literally no one knows who you are online, right? No one knows who you are. And it's not like you're gonna meet these people. If you do meet them, well, then you're probably gonna have to not lie, right? If you ever plan on meeting them. I am not opposed to lying. I've never done it on HelloTalk. I think I lowered my age one time on this other website I used to use called Inner Pals, because the minute I hit 40, people stopped talking to me. So I lowered my age. Do what you got to do, man. Learn the language. Don't feel bad about it. People lie all the time online. It might be against your culture, but within the law of your culture, maybe, you know what? if you're not a good looking guy, just put a picture up of a cat and hide your location. That's not lying. Hide your location. They won't know where you are. All right. Whew. Got that through. All right. Thank you for that question. I mean, it's an excellent question. I really feel for your situation. Hopefully someone's willing to help you out. Okay. GXia asks, in the kanji from Zero Stream, you mentioned that katakana may have come from before hiragana. Yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't look that up yet, but I remember when I was researching for that, I thought, 9th century, whatever. It's confusing, but I think it's possible that katakana was around before hiragana came out. But how is Japanese read without any such hiragana, such as particles and other non-kanji words? Okay, well, I really don't know. I'm sure if we searched it, we'd find it, but everything was kanji in the beginning. Before Japanese had a writing system, there was a language called Wago. This is like way back, like probably over 1,000 years ago. And Wago had no written language, and then the Wu dynasty sent over some diplomats to Japan, and they introduced them to their writing system, and Japan adopted it. Okay? This is a real long time ago. And men were only allowed, scholarly people had to be men. Women were not allowed to write. And women adopted the cursive system that was used to shorthand write kanji. That got modified into hiragana. Hiragana happened, and then Japanese started to change because hiragana was easier to write. And a lot of the early Japanese literature is written in hiragana, and it's written by women. Okay? And then men used to be like, no, I'm not using that hiragana. But over time, it became a thing. And we're talking literally 1,000 years. So that's a lot of time for things to happen. And eventually, hiragana got codified into a system. And eventually, they started dropping the kanji. I don't know how they did it. I don't know when they did it. I don't know if it was organic and then they codified it in the government. You know, like I know in Korea, for example, they'll say, well, from this point forward, we're not going to say words this way. We're going to change this way of this word. And the French do it. They'll say, we're not going to say email. We're going to say mail électronique or something like that. Sometimes the government drives it and sometimes the people drive it. I don't know the history. But I have a theory. I'm going to show you what I know from learning Chinese. Chinese is all kanji, which is what Japanese used to be. So this is my guess of what happened to Japanese. And it probably isn't the same characters because Chinese has modified their characters. Chinese did a big modification, I think about 70 years ago, maybe. I don't actually remember. Don't know. They went to simplified. They made it easier for people to write. Japanese also probably were making it easier to write when they moved to using hiragana in combination with kanji. And the Koreans got rid of the Chinese characters altogether and went to using their phonetic system called Hangul. All right? So this is what Chinese does, and probably Japanese was the same way. Okay, let's look at it. This is sh in Chinese, and it has the function of wa in Japanese. It's not really a topic marker, but it's like this thing is this thing. It shows equivalence, like 我是美国人, I am American. This is like their to be American. This is their to be verb. Okay, wa is not a to be verb, but that's just because Japanese is a completely different language. But it acts like this shu does. It's the closest thing. Zai. Zai means at, in, on, at, right? As far as I know, on and at, right? So, 我在. I am in America. Now in Japanese that's ni, so I'm not sure if it's ni and de combined, but this, in Japanese, this character means to exist. It's aru. That's how you write aru. But in Chinese, it's am. In a spot. I'm in a spot. Okay? Like, 我在学校. I am in school. Right? I am in school. They have to use 在. 私は学校にいます for Japanese. But I think if you're going to say in Chinese, like, I bought this somewhere, you would use 在 to say at this place. And Japanese does that too. And maybe back in the day, they had a similar character. I really don't know. Li. So li, and I don't know the tone for this one, and I haven't learned it yet officially, but I've seen it used. Li is definitely ni. In school, li, something like 学校里. Okay, so in school, I don't know. I literally don't know. This is, I'm guessing because I'm a linguist, but I'm not a scholar. I'm not like a language archaeologist, so I haven't really gone back enough to know this. You could probably research it on Wikipedia. Now, this one is definitely for sure. This is the in Chinese, right? And in Japanese, they still use this character. It's teki, and it is used similarly to the way that Chinese use it. It's kind of weird because it didn't get removed from Japanese. It's used for words like kokusai teki, like internationally, or kokunai, not kokunai, shakai teki chi, like shakai teki, socially. It's used for words to make it a li kind of a word, right? They add the ly, but a lot in Chinese they use this to mean possessive marker, like 我的爸爸, my father, 我的妈妈, my mother is using the, where the Japanese use no. So some things turned into no in the Japanese, and some things remain with teki, the Chinese reading being what I don't know. So that's it. I'm just guessing that's what happened. It did used to all be Chinese characters, just like Korean used to all be Chinese characters, and then King Sejong came along and said, we're going to do a different thing because this is too hard. And Japanese did the same thing. They said, we're not going to use all kanji. We've got this new hiragana script. We're going to use that. All right? That is what I know. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Thanks for watching Japanese from Zero. It's been a fun 5 hours with basically 100 of you, I think, stuck around. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next live stream, and I'll see you all on Japanese from Zero. Bye-bye.